everyone. Welcome back to Killer Content with my dogs and I. This is, I don't think I ever formally introduced them, but this is Lilo. She's my sweetie. And this is Nani. She's jealous. These are my dogs. I just wanted to introduce them because they tend to pop up in my videos a lot of the time. So, if you guys could not guess who the killer of the week is, based off of the picture I posted on Instagram and Facebook, the killer this week is the one and only Bill Suff. And he is known as the Riverside Prostitute Killer. And I chose Bill Suff because he's a little interesting. We actually don't know much about his childhood because he always tends to avoid the conversation, but I do know a little bit about it. So, from what I do know, he has 5 siblings. Well, 4 siblings. He's one of 5, but he's the oldest. And when he was really young, his dad left them, and his mom was just hateful. He spent so much of his time trying to please her, and it just never happened. And his brothers and sisters would always go around and be just causing trouble. They were killing animals, starting fires, but somehow he was like the hero, and he always got them out of trouble. And you wouldn't think like a serial killer, because all the serial killers I've talked about so far have had pretty messed up childhoods. So, I mean, I guess it's a little messed up, but it's hard to find a connection between his killings and his childhood itself. But to continue with his childhood, his 2 brothers actually grew up. One was really bad into drugs, and the other got into pedophilia. Woohoo! So, I think everyone in that family is pretty fucked up, to be honest. But, Bill is just the more well-known fucked up person. So, he was in school, and he was in the marching band, and he got, average grades, things well, I think they're slightly above average, but he was really, really shy. He didn't never had a girlfriend. He was always trying to impress the cool kids and stuff like that, but they just weren't having any of it. They always just shot him down, and all he wanted was to be accepted, but he never was. And his senior year, he saw a girl when he was at a football game, and he kind of liked her. He was staring at her and stuff like that, and she was staring back at him, but he never made a move. And she's knew he would make a move, so she did, and she gave him her phone number. I never really expected to hear from him, honestly, because he was so shy of a human. And he actually did call her. And after he got done with high school, he went into basic training and got shipped off to Texas. Well, the communication didn't end between them, and he eventually kept sending her letters and talking all the time. And one day there was a phone call between them, and she told him that she wasn't going to be able to see him anymore because she was raped and she'd gotten pregnant. And sorry, my dog is digging. Apparently this one's gonna join her. But she was raped and she was pregnant, and he's like, no, it's okay, let's get married, I'll take care of everything, and blah blah blah. He seems like a pretty good guy so far, right? Well, time goes on, they do get married, and she gives birth to a little girl, and he killed her. He killed her. I think strangled the baby, but they were both arrested for it. And while they were arrested, they got convicted. He was convicted of 70 years. And hey, can you not? Sorry, they want to fight today, apparently. Battle Royale. And so they were both convicted and put into jail. Her sentence was eventually reversed, and so she no longer was in prison or anything like that. And he stayed in prison and actually only served 10 of his 70 years and was let out on parole. Now, when he was let out on parole, he went back to Riverside, California, and that's when this whole debacle started. There's not actually, from everything that I found, there's not much information on him. Like, you would have to like read a book or something about him in order to get more information, which there is a book about him. It's called The Riverside Killer, and he's also featured in Cat and Mouse, which is Mind Games with a Serial Killer. Those are both books, and he did interview with the Cat and Mouse author. So there's also a video on YouTube providing more information for him as well. And he moved back, like I said, he moved back to Riverside, California. And when he did, he was a county clerk, a county stock clerk. And he was actually rumored to have delivered like furniture and supplies and stuff to the task force that was tracking him down. And well, not him, like the killer. They obviously didn't know it was him at the time, or else they would have been like, you're under arrest. And he only got caught on accident. But for when he killed people, he would pick up prostitutes and he would rape them, torture them, and then he would go between strangling them and stabbing them. And he was known for mutilating the bodies as well. And a fun fact about him, well, actually, I don't know how fun it is, but when he like cut the breasts off some of his victims, like 2 of his victims he cut a breast off of. So there are 2 breasts from 2 different people. He chopped that bitch up and threw it in fucking chili, went to a chili cooking contest, and won. What the like, I found that fact out, and that's the whole reason why I even wanted to do a piece on him, is because can you imagine like being a judge of that competition and then finding out like years later that the chili that you voted for to win because it was so delicious had the boobs of 2 separate prostitutes in it, and you ate it? Like, no, can't even do it. Cannot do it. So, that's a little fun fact for you about Mr. Bill fucking Suff. So, anyways, so he's killing and cooking chili with titties and whatnot, and he gets stopped one night in 1992, I believe it was, and it was just like a routine traffic stop and stuff. But when they stopped, they found a bloody knife and other objects that were parts of the murders that were happening. They were linked to the murders, and so he was subsequently arrested. And like, it's not like, you know, it's just like the freak accident that he just so happened to pull up to this routine traffic stop that they were doing to literally everyone, and that's how he got caught. Like, imagine if he didn't. And he had 12 victims, but he's suspected of 22. And he even, like, he apparently got remarried at some point. I don't know what fucking psychopath would want to do that. Had another kid. I think she actually had 2 kids, and they had Billy Jr. and then a daughter. But that daughter, he was known for like shaking violently and everything else, and it's just so bad, and basically abusing her too. So he got tried. He was on trial in 1995. He was convicted. They tried him for 13 murders, but one of them was really an attempted murder, so he was convicted. He was found guilty of 12 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder, and he was sentenced to death. That was his sentence. So he's currently sitting on death row out in California in a prison, and I think one year he tried to file an appeal for it, but the California Supreme Court was like, no, fuck you, we're upholding this, and they denied him. So I think every serial killer that gets put on death row tries to file an appeal, and it's like, dude, you're kind of sick. Like, you made people eat prostitute titties. Like, come on. We get it, you won, it was good chili, but like, get it together. But, sorry, that's like the weirdest thing to me, but it's also, again, like I said, the whole reason why I even did this piece on him. But I found more serial killer books I do want to show you guys. Just for people who are interested, like, this is where, like, I find a lot of information on serial killers as well. So, there's this book, which is one of my favorites, The World's Most Evil Psychopaths. Such a good book. And then my other favorite one is Serial Killer Timelines. This one is awesome because, for instance, the last episode, Andre Chikatilo, or whatever the fuck his face is, whatever his face is, you know, they actually have timelines for these people. So this is an example of the timeline for his killings, and it's like what number kill it was, their name, the date, and their age, which is really cool. It's really interesting, and it gives a lot about like their past and stuff like that. It has like John Wayne Gacy in it, Ted Bundy, H.H. Holmes, Albert Fish, whole bunch of really cool ones. So I highly suggest looking into these 2 books. If you want more book references, I have about probably 20 books on serial killers, because, you know, I'm just one of those crazy little white girls. So message me, email me. We just got a new email. It's watchkillercontent@gmail.com. So feel free to email us if you have any questions, if you have a serial killer you want to see. Also post on the Facebook, message my Facebook page, message me on Instagram, comment on Instagram, anything. If you have a killer you want to hear about, let me know. I will get you as much information as I absolutely can. Love you guys. Thank you so much for the support, and stay killer.